Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Modern Market, where every day we discuss all things to do with the modern market. That is the crypto market, the NFT market, and the gold market, and the Bitcoin market. So all the things that are very modern in the market, and what is old is now modern too. So we're going to be discussing all those things. Bitcoin is pulling back a little bit today. BNB is continuing its surge. Gold is at another all-time high. We spoke about it a lot yesterday, reflecting about its position in our portfolio. We will discuss more detail today. We're going to talk ICE, parent company of the NYSE, investing $2 billion into the leading prediction market, Polymarket. I know that was news from yesterday, but it came out after the show. So it's definitely worth talking about our thoughts on prediction markets at the moment. And finally, S&P 500 launches Digital Markets 50, the new index of 15 crypto coins and 35 crypto stocks. We've got the latest on price action on crypto and NFTs in general as well. So stay tuned for that. I've got Legendary and Brett in the co-host seat with me today. We're ready to get into it. But just a reminder, friends, before we do, nothing that we say here is financial advice. The market is extremely risky. We do not know anything for sure. So please proceed with caution and exercise your own judgment. With that out of the way, it is Wednesday. It is the 8th of October. Brett, how are you doing?
What's up, buddy? Less well than I was like 3 minutes ago when I was talking to you guys at the intro, because, well, as I was drinking my coffee, I noticed like there's a flavor in here that it feels different. Like something feels off with this, and it turns out the coffee cup that I have, which is mine, I put my gum in it. I put my gum in it, and then I put more coffee in there, so I have minty coffee this morning.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that was. Cool. I did not know we were going to go in that direction. I thought you had a perp open. I thought something had shifted.
Those are all doing good. Trade-door ARC is thriving. I'm doing pretty good these last week or two.
Of all the varieties of coffee that exist, you know how mint is something that gets thrown in with other things. It's quite a nice mixing type of flavor. You get mint chocolate,
it's like
mint
a Christmas
other stuff.
Coffee, we could say. We're holiday season's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really caught on, has it? So you're having your Christmas early. Okay. Is that where you usually dispose of your gum, Bread?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm at my desk. I'm chewing gum. I need to get rid of it. I don't want to put it on things, so I put it in things. Knowing, it's like saying, future Bread, take this out, clean the coffee,
pre-coffee,
and then you wake up at 2:30 in the morning and go, oh, I just need to make coffee. Use the cup that's on my desk, and yeah, there you go. So, but it's cool. It's whatever. We persevere.
It's answering my question, though. You had in the private chat a couple things that you mentioned which you want to talk about, and one list item there was I drank gum, and I was like, is this some American thing which I don't understand which is going on? Is he talking quite literally about that?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a walk, but we got there. I literally drank gum. I melted it into my coffee and then ingested it.
Love it. One thing I'm always conscious of, when we're going to all these international things, to Legendary's point about like, is this an American thing that we just don't know? Like, everyone's so different. I mean, I know there's a lot of things that binds us together, namely like crypto and like price going up and coins and things like this, and other things too, about common humanity about it all. But also people are like really different. So I wouldn't be surprised if there are some like very differing things going on. Ledge, what about you? What's going on your side? Before we get into the main stuff today, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm doing quite well. I was thinking, we're talking about books in the modern market chat. And I was kind of thinking about I think someone mentioned Lord of the Flies. And I was thinking I would love to see that as a Mr. Beast video, like have 100 people from 100 different countries and nations speaking 100 different languages, all of them placed on an island with no goal, no mission, nothing to do, have CCTV everywhere, and just watch them for a year. I would find that fascinating. This is what my mind was, by the way, when BTC is dumping 2% and I don't have shit to trade. So
this is that bear market chat again. If we do too much of this, we're going to be in a bear market ASAP, or this will be the sign. Like, Bread's drinking gum, Legendary's fantasizing about Lord of the Flies documentaries. and I'm starting a book club. Literally, I'm starting a book club. So for
to
people
meet up
who
with locals, or is it a
So-
digital book club?
Well, this is the thing I shared in the chat yesterday. It was kind of an off the cuff comment. It's something I've had in my mind. I don't know if I don't know if I've got this in my mind specifically for Modern Market Chat, the Telegram community. And by the way, guys, I know there's a lot of people requesting and a lot of people like chasing up. We're just we've got loads and loads of demand. There's loads of people in the Modern Market DMs. We're just letting people in slowly. We can't let in 20, 30 people all in one go. That is how many people are like lined up. We are getting through the invites and just letting 1 or 2 people in per day or per couple of days. So I appreciate your patience. We very much appreciate your desire to come in. We will be letting you in soon. Tom, I see in the YouTube comments, yes, that was a reference to you chasing, but no, we genuinely appreciate it. Like we know it's coming. It's coming. We appreciate the requests. We want to get you in. We're just dripping it through to keep it manageable at the moment. I think we have more than 170 people in there now. So pushing forward to 200 pretty fast. So that's pretty fun. But yeah, just before we get into the main stuff, the book club I put out as an idea in the chat. So I've been thinking about it, and just loads and loads of interesting people coming back with the favorite books, different ideas of how the club might work. Sounded fun. I think it's a definite bear market activity though. So if you see me directing too much time or having too much time to direct to the book club, either it's the bear market or I've made too much money. So it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be hard to tell.
I can promise you, regardless of the amount of money that I make or lose, I will not be joining the book club. It's just something that is, I have never been able to do that, frankly. It's something, I think it's something about the medium. Like I need audio or I need short form burst things that are interesting to me. I've just never been able to indulge myself in a long form book and like actually keep my attention and interest.
I'm the opposite, Brett. I can't do audio content, which sounds weird. I'm hosting a show. We are on episode 606, but I can't listen to other people talk. In real life, yes, I love listening to people, but I can't listen to podcasts and stuff, which is super annoying because I would love to be at the gym, go for a run, and listen to a fucking audiobook, or like continue basically listening where I left the book reading it, but I just can't do it. And I also know exactly why, because I can't adjust the speed smoothly. Like I love to go slower, faster with certain things. And with an audiobook, I can go like 1.5, 2x speed, but I can't like basically change that as my brain changes.
You want to modulate it?
Yeah, reading speed from like sentence to sentence, skim over a couple of pages, read something thrice or 4 times, and I can't do that with that. I would love to.
Oddly, so I can't listen either. But I have to watch. I have to watch. Like if people are talking, I need to see them. Like I can't just have people talking in my ear without me knowing who they are or like what their expressions are at the same time. But oddly, like years and years ago, this is like 7-8 years ago when I was still a lawyer, and I had these ideas of I've always had ideas of like doing media on YouTube or something at some point in time. I went to this podcast thing of like how to create a podcast. It was like this thing created by, I don't know, some people were running a workshop or something. I went with my friend, and like one of the first things they did was ask people around like, what's your favorite podcast to get you speaking to other people? And me and my friend were just like, we don't actually have a favorite podcast. We don't listen to podcasts. We just want to make one ourselves. So similar concept maybe in a way. Look, enough of the bear market, book clubs and all this stuff. Although we do want to track that for as an indicator. Let's get into the main stuff to get you up to speed for everything that we are going to be talking about today. Starting with the price action, we have Bitcoin, which is flat at around 120. Oh, it's dipped a little bit. 123. It dipped a little bit lower first. 123 now, $1,000. ETH is down 4% though. Is that number right? Why is that number so? Yeah, it is. Okay. ETH is down 4% to 4.5K. BNB is still up 1% though to 1,300, leading all the other majors, up 30% on the week. That's insane compared to the others, which are up maybe 4 or 5% maximum. XRP is down 3% today to $2.90. Solana is down almost 4% as well to $222. We have Hyperliquid flat around $46 now. So that Hyperliquid kind of front runs all these things. It was down 5-6% yesterday. before everyone else. And now it's okay, whereas everything else is dumped there 3-4% today. So he's also down 3% today to $3.50. Getting into the meme coin side of things, I'm guessing a little bit of red here. We've got Doge down 4, Pepe down 5, Pengu down 5, Trump down 4, Bonk down 4, Fartcoin down 13. Fartcoin is so volatile, isn't it? WIF is down 6. Mog is down 7. So, base is up 3. Sorry, not base, but Toshi on base is up 3. Useless, the Bonk guy's coin on BNB up 37% in the last 24 hours. That's a pretty big move. BNB coins in general, still the biggest movers. Getting into the main headlines.
Talk about BNB a little bit, like the whole ecosystem, if those things are the ones that are running.
I think we're going to today, because in the main section, actually, yeah, go for it now. But what's your? I think we touched on it a little bit yesterday, but you weren't with us yesterday. So what's your instinct here with BNB kind of running?
I'm trying to think of second order effects, right? Like I listened to a lot of spaces yesterday, or just like overheard some people talking, and everyone's doing the bull posting of BNB feels different. It's going to replace Solana. It's got the shitcoin factory, but plus because Asian whales, and it's been around for a long time. So it's got an actual ecosystem of builders and stuff. So I'm trying to think of what's second order effects of that, and how can I play it? And I think pump might actually, I want to watch pump volume. I want to watch pump launches. I want to watch just like general activity for that specific launch pad, but like that sector on Solana, because I think at minimum we're probably going to have like a short-term like suck of liquidity and users and activity and everything, which means the buyback flywheel goes down, which means people get bearish, which means the same people that are holding that thing want to have more money to go shitcoin with over on BNB, assuming this thing goes for another week or so, because like there is a lot of capital flying around over there. We're seeing a bunch of runners go from 0 to 300 million in a couple hours. I am not dabbling in any of that stuff. I do not want to bridge in and do that kind of stuff. I don't have the time or energy to learn a new ecosystem and the tools and the whatever. And so I'm wondering if I can expect a little bit of a down pressure here, sell pressure on pump specifically, because it's a direct attack on that sector.
That's a good way to think about it. So say, for example, you are not interested in getting to learn another ecosystem or get involved in another ecosystem. You can think of, okay, well, where are the inflows going to come from, and how's that going to affect that ecosystem, which is losing some capital to the other one? And I would bet also that Solana would be the one to maybe lose some energy here. So maybe in line with that, in the notable price action, before we get to the headlines, the 4 meme on BSE was up 22%. Cake on BSE is up 10% as well. The main DEX on
there's a pump fund equivalent launchpad over there that's doing well, and it just flipped pump in 24-hour volume. So like that narrative is going to run for a hot second, and people will try to, like, obviously, like, again, you always want to hold the market leader, which is pump, right? So like long term, your money is safer in a pump than it is on like a upstart equivalent on a new chain that is just gaining traction and all of a sudden flips. We saw it with Sun Pump, we saw it with Aster, we always see it. So like, just as a reminder to people that like it will happen, but there's some durability and something that has been the market leader in that sector.
For sure. Binance Life also up 117%. Lord knows what that token is about. Increase it. Go on, Ledge.
Yeah, another second order effect that you will like, Brett, is Mantle still goes up. Still having a green day, is not really bothered. Yeah, it's not bothered at all. Let me bring it up on screen by.
Yeah, it's been defying a lot. Yeah, from 246. That sucks for me.
Up 5% on the day, is now up. How much is it? 33% over the week.
Yep.
These are huge moves, guys. Huge moves. Yeah, people talk about alt season and like when is it going to come, and other stuff. Like this stuff is moving a lot. Like this stuff has moved a lot in general. I just don't think it's going to be the alts that maybe you are holding or were holding from a previous cycle, there's like specific things that have the energy and attention right here, right now. I wouldn't miss it if it's in front of you, thinking that because it's not a particular coin is not moving, therefore alt season is coming in the future. Like, okay, fine, we're in a moment, and maybe that can go on for some time, but it is also here in some ways. I think Bitcoin dominance has been going down for some time. I think it kind of just started correcting a little bit on the way up again. But yeah, things have started moving. Ledge, did you have a final point there, or Brett, did you have another one? But one of you
Mantle thesis still holds up. I don't know if anyone saw the piece from Defiance Capital, kind of breaking down the comparison between BNB, Binance, Bybit, Mantle, and a few of these other tokens, OKB for OKX and a few others, Kronos, all that. Yeah, I had a long before this last run up on Mantle. I ended up selling right around these levels. I think it was like 240, 230, high 230s. And my good thing was that, okay, it's overbought, probably going to dip a little bit. I had the opportunity to resize in. I did not, because I was expecting with the broader market pullback that everything would kind of come down. And the thing that I'm thankful for with perps is like, it actually keeps me in stables. So like, as I get in and out of positions, like I'm sitting in stables, which is good. I preserve my buying power, which I traditionally haven't done very well. Like sitting on actual stables, I usually deploy it a little too early. So I was hoping with all of this stuff coming down a little bit, with, Bitcoin rallying for the last week and a half from 108 to 125, that everything would come down, Mantle would come down with it. And as Legendary just pointed out, it's actually held up really damn well in this pullback. So I note the strength there, and I may still just like look for an opportunity to get back in there. Yeah.
Okay. We like that thesis then. That's one of the ones that has moved a lot. Let's just get everyone up to speed with everything else that's going on. Reminder, the headlines we'll be talking about today is Bitcoin pulling back a touch, although it's kind of already moving back up to 123K. BNB is continuing its surge higher, and gold has hit another all-time high at $4,000. Legendary is going to talk through that in a bit. We've got the parent company of the NYSE investing $2 billion into prediction market, Polymarket. Brett's going to break that down later. And with a bit of a set of thoughts on prediction markets in general, as we look into Q4, lots of them lining up, trying to get your time and attention. So let's do a bit of a section on that. And then finally, S&P 500 launches Digital Markets 50, new index of 15 crypto coins and 35 crypto stocks. Ledge, some big NFT sales here. Anything else we need to know?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look. Let me get it up on screen. We have, where is it? Here we are. This X copy last selfie selling for 2.8 mil. That was a massive sale. Good to see that one from the art side of things. Other than that, a fair amount of corrections for the NFTs. Checks are down 6% after they had the run before the NFT strategy was expected for them. Moonbirds are essentially flat. Pudgies are down another 4%, 9.6 ETH for there. Bored Apes were up yesterday. They're down the same amount today, sliding under 9 ETH floor, 8.82 ETH to be specific, and so on and so forth, with notable outliers being Doodles down 13%, sliding under 1 ETH floor again, and the Zukis, which had a couple green days, are down 8% at a 1.7 ETH floor.
Lovely. Excellent update, getting everyone up to speed with everything else you need to know. Quick fire, got YZ Labs announcing $1 billion builder fund to double down on founders in the BNB ecosystem. Great timing for that, as people have got all their attention there already. Grayscale is the first ETF to add staking for US spot ETH ETF. BNY Mellon, world's largest custodian bank, is exploring allowing tokenized deposits and blockchain payments. Bitmine, Tom Lee's Bitmine, of course, announces another 179,251 ETH acquisition in the last week. They're now the second largest crypto treasury in the world, or they have been for a while actually already. The Trump token issuer Fight LLC plans to raise at least $200 million to have a Trump DAT, according to Bloomberg. That means I have to sell some crypto every time I hear something nonsensical. So I'll do that after the show today. TokenWorks launches Xcopy strategy for Max Payne editions. Rug Radio announces Genesis NFTs and Rug tokens are deprecated, with a snapshot taken for future Myriad allocation. The Frog Artist teases a mint coming up on OpenSea. That's pretty interesting. I have a suspicion that'll do quite well. The frog art was very, very popular when that token was running a lot in November, December of last year. So I have a feeling that, yeah, it's a great character. And when they were doing some profile pictures in that period of time, people really, really liked them. They were really expensive as well for a period of time. Last bits of news, Crypto Casino Yeet confirms 40% of token supply will go to the community. We are obviously partnered with Yeet. We have a bit of an announcement for our community who are using our ref link at the moment. We'll reveal that either in Telegram later and in the chat and in the show tomorrow. A little bit of a competition we'll be partaking in. And then finally, Arbitrum announces another Kaito earn season with rewards worth 700,000 ARB, which is 310,000 US dollars. So the yapping is still profitable for some big prizes available. With that out of the way, guys, that's the roundup to get everyone up to speed. We've got some big stuff to talk about today, but before we get into that main set of headlines, is there anything catching your attention from the rest of the roundup? Brett, you sound like you are ready.
3 things. 1, I want to congratulate Legendary on capturing 37% of the 40% allocated Yeet airdrop to community. Mr. G Limbo GCR over here. 2, I want to mention Monad got listed on Hyperps, so just worth talking about.
We should talk about.
I think they got listed, traded at 20 bill, ran to an absurd number like 40 bill FDV. So whoever was able to get in a short at those levels, GG's, you won. It's currently resting at like 15 billion FDV, which, you know, I think we all agree feels a little high for a day one ecosystem. You know, we saw Plasma run to about 14, 15 bill, and then now is sitting right around 7 or 8. So, someone got in on it.
So where are we? So
now,
Legendary just pulled up the chart.
Yeah, it's at 12.8. I opened the short when we started the show earlier and talked about it. It was like, maybe I'm a bit late, but hey.
Nice. No, so I think that, like, as long as your liquidation isn't crazy, I think you're probably fine there. I just think like early ecosystem, you gotta earn your stripes. Like I remember Starknet did the same thing. They dropped their token. It's at like 17 bill FDV, and everyone's like, what the hell is going on? No one's using this thing, whatever. And then now it's at like 300 million, right? I think those, it's just a matter of like, can you outlast the market? Because like it's irrational at the onset. So that, I don't know if you guys want to weigh in on that. I have one more thing.
Yeah, let's weigh in on that for a sec then. Ledge, I'll come to you first and I'll share my thoughts. Why did you then open it short straight away at 14 bill after you saw this morning's pre-market price action? Maybe worth just explaining to people how pre-markets have operated, how it's been operating on Hyperliquid in case other people are, you know, just trying to get their bearings there.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I missed it when it opened yesterday. Beachik, you and I had the same thought. We both like thought this seems pretty high for something where we don't have a ton of info on, and it's with a lot of competition. Obviously, that is. You have Plasma just being out. You have Mega ETH, which will come soon. Don't know the exact timing on that, but it looks like it's probably competing for the same people and same attention timing wise. And I'm like, this, I just don't see a reason why this should trade so high and why this should trade higher than basically Plasma or other things. So just gut feeling wise, shorted that. It's super volatile. It's only a 3x leverage that you can do, but it has massive volatility if you look at the chart.
How's the volume?
There's a fair amount of volume, 24 mil over the last 24 hours. It's not crazy. We've seen crazier numbers on Hyperliquid. 5.5 million open interest. But it was just a gut feeling decision to short this thing.
Yeah, it's interesting to think about relative valuations here, right?
It's always relative.
Yeah, because, you know, just kind of the only way we're able to decide on anything is by thinking what else is out there and how other things are pricing things. So, yeah, I think Plasma is a decent one. Obviously, you know, they're going after very different things, and I appreciate there's a lot of tech and mechanical things that Monad have chosen to do differently, which I'm sure they hope will be valued in some way. but given that Plasma has come out recently as a new chain with a ton of TVL, I think that's the reasonable one to look at. And I think, yeah, it was just a gut thing that 14, 15, 16 just sounds a bit high. Honestly, if it had come out, I'm trying to think.
Avalanche.
Yeah, like I'm trying to think in the counterfactual. If it had come out at 10 and I'd never seen it at 14, I would still have thought it was high-ish. I think Plasma actually coming out and doing as well as it did has maybe shifted other people's valuations higher. Now people are disappointed with that, with Plasma, like, oh, it's only at 8 something. It was sitting in pre-markets at like 66, 7, like 6.6, 7, 8 for ages and ages and ages. And people were like, everyone was super delighted with that. It's just the fact that it went up so fast and now it's back at 8 that everyone's like, oh my God, this is terrible. So no, that was an incredible thing for Plasma to come out of that valuation. I don't think even during that, people had all that time to long it at 0.6, 0.7, and no one did. So I think like 8 bill FDV is a great starting point for them. And maybe I would have thought that would be somewhere that might be fair value for one of a chain that is going to do really, really well and has attracted loads of attention and loads of capital as well. And with excellent partnerships and all these things lining up. And where have I got that number from? I don't know exactly. It's just like just being in the market and like looking at various things over time. So yeah, 14 felt a bit high for me as well, but let's see. Brett, did you want to come back on that?
Yeah, I'm just like, I wanted to go look at the market and see like what other chains are valued at, and
yeah.
Where does this put it, right? So it's like, this is above or at Avalanche, which, as we know, has a lot of institutional partnerships. Like, it's been around for a long time, huge thriving ecosystem, TVL, all this shit. They're above Avalanche, just below Ton Coin, below Kronos, below Tron, below Sui, above Hedera, above Story, and above Plasma. Story is above Plasma, which is hilarious. 9.4 billion over Plasma, which is 8.7. And
Respect, you know what, the IP, Brett. IP is valuable.
I say that, but like neither of them are doing anything. So like, yeah, Plasma has TVL, but like why do I even think that? Like, neither of them have a claim to like a higher FDV. So for me to say that's ridiculous, like, bro, who the fuck am I to say like IP isn't worth more than a neobank, right? Who the fuck am I? But above Aptos, then you see something like Say is at like 2.7.
Okay.
Yeah, just some numbers.
Yeah, it's worth checking. I mean, when you put it like that, I think the numbers that we're kind of putting out there seems reasonable. Maybe even 10 or so would be reasonable then, based on all this stuff. But let's see. We're got to see what kind of capital it attracts. And to be honest, if I'm being perfectly honest on this one, Plasma, I was deeply researched on. I was heavily invested in. Like, I had the whole thesis. I kind of felt like I knew what the trajectory was, and was pretty confident. I'm less knowledgeable on this one if I'm putting my hands up here. So it's more of a gut instinct thing. Ledge, did you want to come back? Because I know Brett had one more thing to add before we hit the main headlines.
Yeah, even comparing to Mantle, just because we spoke about that at 8 bill market cap, 15 bill FDV, which is, as Brett has explained on the show, very closely associated to Bybit, the second largest exchange in the world. Just makes it hard to justify that valuation.
One thing I would say though is, okay, that all of these things are fine, but these are more mature tokens. So when you say Avalanche is one that exists, it's got all of these partnerships, it's got all the support. Okay, that's fine. It's a more mature token. I guess the circulating supply will be much higher. It's not uncommon. In fact, it is very common for these newer tokens to trade much, much higher when the supply is low. And that's just part of the game. Like, everyone gets to enjoy that moment. I'm sure those other coins enjoyed that moment when they were a low float, high FDV thing at some point in time. So you do get to trade at a premium when you are new. And so just saying, so that's the one caveat I'd say in terms of the relative valuations. So they should enjoy that. They should take advantage of that. And they should be priced higher in that respect, because they get to control the supply a little bit more. And then the final point is on this high perps thing, where it's maximum 3x leverage at the moment. Remember, people got blown out on Plasma who were shorting, hedging their positions because people just decided to run it up. As Legendary said, it's very, very illiquid. If you do choose to short for whatever reason, in fact, if you choose to go either way for any reason, I feel like you don't really know what's going to happen on these like relatively illiquid markets. So just be aware that happened. I think people were very short hedging their positions on plasma, and then it almost 2x, like off 60 cents all the way up to 120, which no one saw coming, and everyone got liquidated. And then it came all the way back down. So it's very manipulatable.
Part of the game, baby.
Part of the game. So yeah, the game is interesting these days with these pre-markets. So it's a more interesting, like, because pre-markets before, right, we would always just put the caveat and say, okay, guys, this is how much volume is this, what's trading on. But, you know, you can't really take pre-markets seriously because they're illiquid or this and that and this. Whereas now, you know, there's more stuff going on, but there's still something about it, which is you can't really predict.
You know what? There's something I was doing earlier to try to gauge if there's a market discrepancy or like the actual true value of these stuff. Is Polymarket has pre-markets on FDV guesses at launch, right? So you can actually see that as like a floor for what this will ultimately go to. And I looked at it, it's like, you know, 100% for 2 billion, 80% for 6 billion, and like for yes. And then so you can see it as it scales up what the confidence interval is for people to actually, like, it doesn't go as high as we need this to go, but like you see it's already at 50% for 8 bill there. So like the actual market confidence that this thing is worth 14 bill, like with this thing, this is an established market, only 60,000 in volume, but it can inform your position. Like for me, if people aren't confident in bidding over 8 bill, that tells me that the high perps are overpriced right now, and it'll probably reconcile somewhere in the middle of these two, which gives you, what is that, like a 30% gap between current price and what market confidence is.
Interesting. Yeah. I like it. I like that. I like that call out. That's an interesting bet to be able to make on Polymarket. Well, an interesting one to watch. Confidence. And honestly, the reason why I find it an interesting one to watch is because I feel like people who know something might slip. It's one of the ones where it's like, it's one of the ones where, you know, in an election, why is the prediction market always right? It's because people know stuff and then they move stuff.
And so I thought about that too, but I was like, you can't, like, the team can't dictate price, right? So like the market's going to dictate the price. So the team can come in here and say, oh, in the we know our listing price is going to be like whatever, 8 bill, 10 bill. But if the market dumps on your head immediately because the market values you lower than that, then doesn't matter what you bid up the thing is, you're now wrong on both sides because you can't dictate like the market price a day after launch unless you're like doing some good crime
which is not
we've seen it. Yeah, I guess out of the question. I say that
for some people. So yeah, okay. Point taken. You had one other thing, Brad, before we get into the main stuff. We've only got 20 minutes left.
I'll make it quick. Yeah, this one's more on the equity side. Just that I've been expressing in chat that I think I'm going to start getting some exposure to Galaxy Digital. It just exists at an intersection of a lot of stuff. I learned a little bit more about it the last few days. You know, it's got a data center for a little bit of, like Galaxy Digital is like famous in the industry. You've had it for a long time. I got back from the last cycle. So like the name itself should be familiar to people. The person that is now running it is trying to go for a little bit of a Robinhood play where they give consumers access to crypto assets. He is the person previously with one of the collapsed Celsius style platforms. I forget which one it actually was, but he's the one that's now leading product, which is like, he had a really good product. He had great adoption. He just like was promising a little too much, I guess. But anyways, it's a guy who has done it in the past. They have a data center play, which means it plays into AI a little bit. People can actually leverage their data center to actually to spin on that. So this is the intersection of a few of these things, and it's really underpriced. So I actually sold off a little bit more of my coin. I know I've been telling everyone that I've been like rotating out of that. I'm mostly in Robinhood, mostly in coin, and then now I'm starting to scale up a little bit of like the Hype D and this Galaxy Digital. Although I think, you know, I'm wondering if maybe I cut the Hype D bags too. We'll see.
Brett, what should I do with my SBET? I'm still holding it. I'm still down 50%. It looks hard holding SBET as well.
Bro, all the volume is with Tom Lee. He's like the KOL theory of these DATs is actually coming true.
We just picked the wrong one, man.
Yeah, I bet on the wrong KOL, huh?
KOL
feels
theory,
terrible.
man. There's gonna be power law with a lot of these DATs. So basically, each asset is gonna have one champion. So it's gonna be the Kyle Samani with Solana for sure. Like I have no doubts that he's gonna win that race. And then it's going to be Tom Lee on Ethereum. That's going to capture all the DAT volume there. It's going to trade above NAV. He's too good. He's on the roadshow and he's got a big personality. He's memeable, all this shit. Yeah. And I don't know who that is on the Hyperliquid stuff. Although we did see it get listed on, there was another thing that mentioned they're doing a basket of 20 crypto assets and Hyperliquid was included in that basket. So it's already getting from the NASDAQ. So more and more consideration for hype there or adoption there.
Yeah.
Funky with his hand up on this. So curious to get your perspective in as well, and then we'll get into the main headlines.
So I just want to thank Brett for calling out Galaxy. I looked at this a long time ago and I just pulled up the chart. Bro, that thing has been on a rocket ship. I remember
it's crazy.
$15 or something not that long ago. And it's perfectly timed because Friday I'm getting some coin called away on a call. I've been writing covered calls just to kind of get rid of the coin or at least slim it down. And I'm going to get some more hood, but I'll probably get some of the Galaxy too. And yeah, I'm upside down on SBET, but I did equal bets between that and Bitminer. So I'll be okay, I think.
Nice. How's Bitminer performing though?
It's relatively flat. I mean, it's up from where I bought it. It's at like $60 right now. So it's not, super high compared to when I got it, probably around 40-ish, whatever it was.
Yeah, a bit of lethargy in the DATs, I feel, because prices, after that parabolic move up, it's kind of just sat around for a bit, hasn't it? So I think the price needs to be better before they can do more. Let's see. Right. Let's get into the main headlines then today. Legendary, you're going to take us through a bit of a roundup of where the major prices are and what some of the main movers are doing. Very curious about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take a look at the overall market. We did mention, obviously, the crypto majors being down a bit, with BTC being down only 1% over the last 24 hours, but ETH and others bleeding more, being down 4%. However, if we look at other asset classes, they paint a very different picture from that, starting with gold. Gold is up another 1.4% on the day, smashing through the 4K wall, sitting at $4,035, which again makes me very happy because I had that bet placed on Merit, the prediction market, that gold will go through a 4K, and it did. That is lovely to see. It's up almost 10% on the month. Silver, just because we have it up on screen, which Moritz, good friend of the show and trader, bought quite prominently on the timeline, is also doing quite well. It is up 2.4% on the day. It's outperforming gold over the last 30 days, where it's up 17%. It's up 56% over the last 6 months. So silver is doing quite well too. Taking a look at the S&P 500, that is basically down 0.5% over the last day. It's up 0.4% over the last 5 days, though. Pre-markets are looking good. They are all across S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ futures green, anywhere between 10 and 20 bips. Just wanted to check in on some other things on the Polymarket side, starting with the shutdown. We seem to now have a consensus opinion here, which is that the shutdown won't end anytime soon. 80% of the market thing, it's going to be October 15th or later. So at least one more week of shutdown to see, which is affecting us, obviously, in terms of some of the data, which we are expecting. We expected job data, as it is usual on the first Friday of a new month. And I feel like if this is extending a bit more the shutdown, that is, then we might see more and more volatility in the market. If we look at longer time periods, because there's also a market that takes this into November, we can see there's no consensus opinion. And I also don't really want to report on that because that has only 23K of volume, whereas the October market for the shutdown is sitting on 5 million volume and is quite large by comparison. Two more things that I want to touch on. On Polymarket, what price will Bitcoin hit in October? that is a market with 6.7 mil in volume. Consensus seems to be 52%, so a bit more than half of the market is thinking we're going to see 130K, 30% think we're going to see 135K. But we also have a similar picture on the downside where we have 25% and 20% respectively thinking we could go down to 112 or even 110K. So Polymarket, and we have a similar picture for ETH, unsurprisingly, is currently looking at a potentially longer shutdown and potential volatility for the majors to both sides.
Do we have a view on what the shutdown is, like what the implications are for the market in general? I mean, clearly at the moment, everything is just acting as if nothing matters and we just go up anyway. Is there a specific view that you guys, because this was happening while I was off the show, did you express a view on that?
Yeah, we had a longer discussion on that, and Funky has made a couple good points on that. Funky's main point was, as long as it doesn't last too long, he's not overly concerned. However, there's like certain areas where we could see an impact, such as the ETF listings, everything that is to do with progressing crypto regulations, which could take longer. And then as more time would go by without data that is being communicated, such as job reports, and the market would kind of operate in the blind, then as soon as the shutdown ends and we'll get back to getting the data from the US government, and if that deviates from what has been expected, that could cause a bit more volatility.
Okay. The one thing I'm thinking though, guys, is we just need to pull up different charts now. Like this is beyond a sensible assessment. Or like we keep turning up every day being like, gold is up, stocks are up. So it's like, okay, no, the dollar is just useless. Is this really the way to report news even at the moment? Like what insightful are we providing? And I'm kind of just thinking out loud here, right? Like I know we're obviously doing what everyone else does, trying to be helpful, but I'm kind of wondering to myself, like, is it even helpful anymore to just say that gold is up against the dollar, or that the stocks are up? Like are stocks up against gold? Are houses up against gold? Is Bitcoin up against gold at the moment? Like I think in future we might need to, this is just like literally me thinking out loud, I think in future we're going to need to start tracking this stuff against a better asset than the dollar.
In the inverse, like
dollar,
yeah, because
though the Dixie has been recovering over the last week. It's up 1%. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it is a lot to move over a week. Even if you look at the euro dollar rate, which is something that I track on a daily basis, last week we were like €1 gets you $1.18. Now it's down to 1.16. So dollar stump is not continuing at the moment. It's recovering a bit.
Sure, against other currencies, right?
Yeah, which is the main way to measure it. Yeah.
Sure, but I guess maybe the question is that even so? Okay, in the real world of fiat currencies, and having that discussion, I think that's still helpful. So it might be due a bit of a recovery because it's been hammered so far since the top of the year against other currencies. But so that's an interesting point though, because even in this period of time of like slight dollar outperformance versus other normal fiat currencies, gold has still been charging. Gold is on the charge. Irrespective, put any fiat currency against it and it's just on the charge. So I don't know, that's just me thinking out loud. I think we need to see some other charts here more routinely, because this is why, and this is the thing I think everyone will find helpful, is the predicament I'm finding myself in is I have a ton of stables. I know you do as well, Ledge, Brett. I think you have a healthy proportion stashed away somewhere as well.
Yeah, now that I'm a trader, for sure.
Exactly. You're gonna need some, but it's like, okay, well, with whatever portion you have, do you stick it in and get yield on it? Or should you really be like, should gold be the stable? Is gold the stable? I mean, historically, maybe, obviously more recently, stable coins are stable. But I'm very, very, I'm just thinking about this idea.
Well, now we're getting philosophical, because now you're like, what's the concept of a stable? Something that preserves your purchasing power is what you're hoping for, right? I think that's what you're trying to get at. By stabling up, you're hoping to preserve your purchasing power. And you're saying stabling up like in the dollar terms, because that thing is weakening relative to everything else, is not preserving your purchasing power. Therefore, stabling as a concept should be into something that is more durable, which is a gold.
Exactly. And I don't think enough of our portfolios are allocated like that. I mentioned this on the show yesterday. We've been talking about it in general, right? Okay, that's like more one to dwell on. But I think we've got to dwell on it fast, because you could have been dwelling on that last month and gold was at 3,300 or something, or 3,100.
Yeah, I mentioned it last week on the call. I'm making the collective community hold me accountable. Once I sell my condo, I said I'm just going to sell it and put 100% of that in like a 3x levy long on gold. Hopefully it happens soon. And like that's just what I'm going to do. And like that might as well be like stabling up.
Dude, I'm selling something as well at the moment. I'll do it as well. We just go 3x long gold with what was formerly property, which has been going down against gold aggressively over time. I saw some chart this morning. Okay, let's move on. Prediction markets. Brad, you've got the headline on prediction markets. Polymarket had a big raise. I know this was big news yesterday, came out after the show though, so we didn't get a chance to reflect on it. What do we need to know here, Brad? And then what are your thoughts on prediction markets for Q4? Getting a lot of attention.
Headline: ICE, parent company of New York's ICE, which is Intercontinental Exchange. Sorry about that. Is the parent company of New York Stock Exchange, and it's investing $2 billion in Polymarket, valuing the predictions platform at $9 billion post money. So post money, that would be. So obviously pretty high valuation. I saw some screenshots of early investors up like from $125 million round. Some people were up infinite, but this was like back in, many years ago. So like, this is not a short-term thing. This follows actually a month of fundraising chatter. Polymarket was actually weighing financing around from 9 to 10 billion. And we've heard Kalshi is also similarly, raising around 5 billion. So both of the leading prediction markets, which you've seen on the timeline, undoubtedly because of the recruiting storm that's going between the two of them, are both pretty high, but it's roughly double of what Kalshi is raising at. So that's just the headline. It's pretty notable, obviously, that TradFi is buying into one of our premier assets. I think it's pretty remarkable notable that we should just Polymarket has escaped the bubble, right? They are now like influencing the world. They've been doing it for a while, since the election, and like everyone said like it would die after that.
Valuable information, isn't it? It's good information. Yeah. Even if you don't want to bet, it's good information.
It's used as a resource. So like even Tom Lee, I heard a podcast this last weekend where he was talking about they don't trade it, but they use it as insightful information, right? We just referenced it for the government shutdown that has implications across the world. And I think it's used as, or can be used as, an exotic hedge for a lot of people. Just like as this stuff impacts, like if you are an importer, you can hedge your position for the Bering Strait closing, and you can go over there and establish a position knowing that you're going to have headwinds if that actually comes true, right? So you can buy a yes and then save yourself a little bit. So I think it's just notable. It's not going anywhere. Prediction markets are going to be around for a while. I do think the form factor is going to continue to evolve. Obviously, they're going to keep iterating, and as it becomes more and more legal and more accessible. I think we just heard that. So obviously Robinhood has Kalshi integrated, but I just heard someone else was actually integrating prediction markets. I want to say it was a big brokerage. Don't quote me on that. Maybe I'll bring it up on Friday, but they'll continue to proliferate. It's just a better form factor for something that we don't really have.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Legendary, question to you is, do you think this is worth people's time? Okay, we dealt with the news, the significance of prediction markets from a more for a kind of institutional and main perspective. What about from people's time perspective? Is this something worth allocating some time and attention and capital to, if these protocols do indeed go for a token at some point later this year, next year? Do you think that should be on people's horizon or not?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's something I've been thinking a bit longer, also from the futarchy perspective, which I don't know if we haven't spoken about futarchies on the show before. It's basically a governance model that has been floating around, even in crypto for, 3-4 years. It's not a new term, and it's basically governance by prediction markets. So you have a prediction market, simple terms for a specific proposal, and that you vote with money, and this is how DAO resolves their proposals, and that has been around for years. It's not a new concept, but I feel like it's coming back on the timeline again with just the rise of prediction markets. And then again, I think that basically everyone is integrating a prediction market now. We have Robinhood, we have individual platforms. We had another platform that made the round on the timeline yesterday, who suddenly now also has a prediction market. Same with futarchies. You don't really need a tool for that. You can integrate them. So the question then becomes, who is the winner which you're going to pick on that? And if Polymarket is the winner, can you like still catch up in terms of the volume needed to make this worth your money and time farming it?
Fair.
I will
It's a
say,
good question.
like,
Obviously, a lot of money's been placed there already. So, Brad, go on.
yeah, I just wanted like a little more context on the futarchy stuff. So the biggest project for that is on Solana, MetaDAO. I posted a picture in our friend tech chat yesterday, like a Telegram chat with my old friend tech buddies. We were in and out of that trade in like 2.5 years ago. MetaDAO, I mean, Meta is the token, and it's been running recently, which is why I brought it up, because I was like, bros, we were just early, because like we were all talking about it. I pulled up the chat. The motivation for futarchy is, as Legendary said, but it goes one step further, or the reason it's similar to prediction markets is because everyone, or the thesis is that monetary value is the ultimate driver for the correct decision, right? So it's like with prediction markets, everyone has monetary incentive to pick the right thing, even if it is against their like personal interest, because it results in them making more money, right? So like if I vote on something that is against my best interest, I don't want that to come true, but I want to make money. I don't want to lose money. Everyone universally wants to make money. That like it'll drive to the right decision. Same thing with futarchy. As you said, you vote with tokens. The tokens cost money, and the motivation is that the token holders, the people, will vote on the thing that generates the most value for the protocol. So you vote in governance to say, this is the outcome that will make more money, will make the token that I'm voting worth more. And therefore, I want to choose the thing that is better monetarily for the protocol. May not be the best thing that interests me as like a technical dev. I want this feature, but this feature will make the thing more money. It'll make it worth more, which therefore is the thing that we should do. Like that's the motivation. It's very similar. And the creator of that is actually some like the creator of futarchy. He designed it like a couple decades ago, or wrote about it. He actually is part of that MetaDAO project.
Oh
yeah.
Wait, Robin Hanson is part of MetaDAO?
Yes, he's an advisor to MetaDAO.
I didn't know that. When I was in MetaDAO last cycle as well, and you know, when some of my friends started talking about futarchy again, and they started to talk about MetaDAO again, I was like, wait, is this the same one that we were talking about last cycle? Is it just going back?
Yeah.
Or yeah, it's interesting. But do you think it has a fair chance now to like be something that becomes a more established concept, a way to govern a DAO, or is it just trending because prediction markets are the hot thing?
So I don't like. You're kind of robotic for me. I don't know if it's just me or if it's both of us. Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think, so we're seeing it get adopted a little bit more. They've just had 2 launches on the platform. And I'm seeing people talk about integrating it into their like actual official governance structure. So I am seeing a little bit of proliferation. I don't know. I don't know if people care. Like it feels kind of techie. Like I just like governance. The whole sector is just kind of meh. But I do know a lot of people are really excited about it. It's the reason I bought it back in the day, because like you saw large funds DCAing into the token, like Galaxy, or not Galaxy, but the same Samani guys, Multicoin. They were all DCAing in. Yeah, has potential. But
this thing about these ideas, though, like, so this one is, I don't know, some different type of governance. I saw that one of their first token launches was something privacy related. And what was I thinking in relation to that? There was another token recently that, oh, the double zero, not layer zero, double zero. Is it double zero? The fiber optic thing, Brad?
yes,
that you've been.
fiber optic. Yep.
What exactly is it? It's fiber optic. It's like changing.
It's not part, like it's launched on, or its first adoption is the Solana blockchain, but its entire thing is infrastructure. It's utilizing efficient routing of data between the world or around the world, right? Everyone right now, blockchains today, right? Solana has a bunch of validators all across the world. And for them to communicate, to come to consensus, to transact and transmit messages, they have to use the public internet, which is crowded, congested, slow, inefficient routing, whatever, right? You're bouncing from Texas to New York to South Africa to end up in Frankfurt, right? 00 is working with providers at dedicated data centers across the world to make sure that there are direct fiber optic lines between all of these destinations, and mostly utilizing unused bandwidth. So they get these people to dedicate bandwidth to specifically blockchain transactions so that validators can communicate in a direct path on efficient lines immediately. Therefore, Solana, the chain, and any chain that can actually utilize these resources is now just faster. It can communicate faster. It's more efficient.
So I really like that as an idea. I like that as an idea. I liked the privacy stuff that the futarchy MetaDAO first raise was for. Like, I like these concepts. I feel like they are thinking about things which is a bit more core to crypto and like using the rails in a proper way, trying to create something valuable. My concern is that I don't know if the market right now can absorb those types of things. Like, is there demand for that type of concept? I actually really hope that there is. And one of the things I've been talking about recently, like this, whether it's Zcash or whether it's something else, I didn't trade the Zcash thing because I feel like that's just something everyone does every cycle for a little bit of time. And so I thought it was like an insincere pump in that way. But like, I do hope there is some kind of pivot to some more core crypto values at some point in time, and maybe that becomes investable properly. I don't know when that'll be. That's just a kind of out loud reflection. Guys, we kind of ran over today. The only headline beyond that was this short one on the S&P's new index, blending 15 cryptos with 35 crypto-linked stocks. We've seen this news a few times now where there's these new kind of indexes that are kind of blending core crypto coins with now either certain stocks, or, well, first indexes which were taking an index of just crypto, the top crypto coins. Now it's like some blend of crypto with crypto-linked stocks. And I suspect this is going to continue the kind of merging of stocks with crypto, and Robinhood being one of the biggest beneficiaries, as you know, these things just become tradable and connected in many more ways. So that's just a quick one there. We're noticing that trend in general, and that's about it, guys. That was a good show. Any final thoughts from you guys?
Pray for my shorts. I'm still in the position. I'm hoping to close it soon. Pray for them.
On which one?
I don't want to say because I'm going to close them short. Yeah, we'll let you guys know tomorrow.
Brett is short the market, and you know, it's still an open invitation to liquidate me at 5.1k ETH. I said you can liquidate me. Anyone can, if they would like to. Open invitation. Pray for our shorts, but also actually, I'd actually rather you liquidate me because then the rest of the market goes up. So, also pray for our longs. Have a good day, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We do this every single day, Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time for 1 hour live on X Video, YouTube, and you can catch us on Apple, Spotify too. Thank you, Legendary and Brett, for co-hosting with me. Thank you to Funky for his routine, excellent contributions. And thank you for joining us. We'll be back same time, same place tomorrow. Remember, if you have put a request in to get into our Telegram group to the main account, the proper process is DM the Modern Market Twitter account. We are letting people in slowly. We cannot let everyone in at the same time. We have lots of people lined up. We'll get to you. We promise. We will do that as soon as we can. Take care. Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.